Hello again, it's J. Austin Bittner, Executive Director of the Engineers Club, here in our home, the beautiful Garrett Jacobs Mansion. Today I'm coming to you from the Members Bar, and I know that a popular activity amongst many people as they are staying at home, socially distanced from others, is to have a happy hour virtually with many of their friends via Zoom or FaceTime, etc., Facebook Messenger. And so one of the things I thought today I'd share with you is a cocktail, which is maybe unusual for some of you. Maybe it's in your standard repertoire for others, but a lot of people who have a home bar already may have a lot of these ingredients already at home. And lucky enough for those of us here in the state of Maryland, liquor stores are still considered essential service, so you can visit those establishments or have them delivered to you as well. So today we're going to make a Boulevardier with a couple little riffs. Boulevardier is this basically bourbon riff off of a Negroni, which many people might know, and that's technically a little more of a warmer weather drink, and the Boulevardier is a little cooler weather. We find ourselves here in the Baltimore area in a shoulder season where it was 73 degrees yesterday, and today it's going to be in the low 50s. So you could go either way from time to time, but today we're going to do the Boulevardier. And so what I have are the three main ingredients in the Boulevardier behind me. We've got bourbon. Today we're going to be using Larceny bourbon, which is 92 proof. I like to go with a little higher proof bourbon in my cocktails so it kind of can punch through, so to speak, and you taste the bourbon notes. It's 92 proof. It's a wheated bourbon, and it's a really good cocktail mixing bourbon, and it's not bad on its own either. The other two ingredients I have here are Campari, and if you don't have Campari or you don't find Campari, you can use Aperol. Both of these will work in the recipe, although I think Campari is kind of like if you had a volume level knob on the bitterness factor, which is part of the key component of this cocktail. Campari is, say, at an 8, and Aperol is about at a 6 in terms of bitterness. So, you know, pick your poison, so to speak. And then the third main spirit ingredient in our cocktail is going to be sweet vermouth. Here I've got 1757 Vermouth di Torino, which is a very fine sweet vermouth, but you can use whatever sweet vermouth you have in hand or they happen to have in stock. It doesn't matter that greatly. Well, that's a lie. It matters. It makes a difference. But for making your first one, you don't have to rush out and buy this exact sweet vermouth. Just use a sweet vermouth. So typical Boulevardier or Negroni is 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, equal parts of all three. My style of Boulevardier tends to be slightly heavier on the bourbon because I like the bourbon note to come through a little bit, and I think sometimes it can be overpowered by the Campari component. So in my recipe, what I use is a 1 to 1 to 1.5 for the bourbon. So if you're making this at home, you'd use 1 ounce each of the sweet vermouth and 1 ounce of the Campari, and then 1.5 ounces of bourbon. So that's what I'm going to do right now. And I always recommend measuring. When you're making cocktails, it's very important to measure. Eyeballing is not an exact science. So here I've got 1.5 ounces of bourbon, and then I'm going to use 1 ounce of the sweet vermouth. And then again, 1 ounce of the Campari. There we go. And then, of course, we want to chill it down, so we want to put a little ice. And you can stir or shake. I tend to like to shake my cocktails because I want them to be a little cooler, and I like them to be slightly diluted. But that's all your individual choice. You also get smaller ice particles if you do the shaking method, which I'm doing right now. So, you got a strainer to strain. One thing I might want to note for all of you is that One of the typical garnishes for Negroni or for a Boulevardier is a peel of orange to give a fresh citrus note. But I don't have oranges here. Well, you may not have oranges at home. What are you going to do? So one of the things I do is I improvise. You could use lemon if you had it, or grapefruit if that's what you have available. You could do nothing. You don't need it. I happen to have here orange bitters. So I'm going to put a little essence with a couple dashes of orange bitters in there just to give that hint of the orange note that you're looking for in this. And then I'm going to take my glass and my strainer and strain away. Now this cocktail can be served either neat, sometimes people do this in a pre-chilled glass, or it can be served on the rocks. It's a beautiful, beautiful color. And I'm not going to tell you what time of day it is because I'm also going to not tell you what time of day to start your happy hour. So it's a beautiful, beautiful beverage, mixture of those beautiful vanilla, caramel, bourbon flavors with the sweet herbal essences of the vermouth, and the back end has the little bit of bitter component that makes this a true sipping cocktail as opposed to a drinking mixed drink or cocktail. So until next time, I say cheers to you.